So jump to your module directory. Again, this is sites all modules custom input. And in your steps folder, go ahead and select the 10th step, which is called confirmation form. In this example, what we're going to do is use a Drupal utility function to generate a confirmation form. So typically, confirmation forms will be displayed whenever the user is doing something potentially destructive that they might want to back away from. So deleting a node, for example, generates a confirmation form using the same function that we're going to use here. Deleting any type of content like taxonomy or users also trigger this. So you can use this whenever inside of your module a user will be potentially doing something destructive. So go ahead and open up this file and copy the entire code. And just like in previous examples, we're going to paste it over all of our code that's currently in our input.module file and save it. In a previous form example, we demonstrated how we could save user searches into the variables table in Drupal and use those searches as an autocomplete. In this example, what we're going to do is allow the user to click a link that says clear history, and when that happens, they'll be shown a confirmation form that asks them if they really want to delete their history, and when that's submitted, it will delete the variable from the variables table that's been storing the history. So this process doesn't introduce a lot of new ideas except the confirmation form function. We're just wrapping several of the ideas from previous examples into this. Our first step is going to be building our form render array. And we'll do that in this function. It's called input search history delete confirm. And just like with any render array function for a form, we're passing it two parameters, the form and form state arrays. Now I'm just going to jump down to the very bottom line of this, where we're returning a confirm form. So confirm form is the name of the function that generates a confirmation form for us, and we pass it a number of parameters. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the definition of this function so we can look at those parameters a little more closely. The first parameter is form, and that's of course the form that we're building. The question is the question that the user will be asked. In our example, it's going to be something like, are you sure you want to clear your search history? The path variable is the path that the user will go to if they click the cancel button to exit out of the confirmation form. The description is some additional information that's presented underneath the question. Yes is the text that will display in the yes or confirmation button. By default, it's confirm. The no is the text that will display in the cancel link, and by default that will be cancel. And the name is an internal name used to refer to the confirmation item. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back to our code. So the parameters that we're passing have slightly different names here, but the caption corresponds to description, and so we're saying the action cannot be undone. The heading corresponds to the question, and the question is, are you sure you want to clear the search history? The cancel path is input examples, so if somebody clicks cancel, they'll go to the parent page of the page that we're currently on. The yes is delete history, the no is cancel, which is what it is by default, and then we're returning the confirm form, and that will return the build array for the full confirmation form. Okay, the next step is to register a page to display this form. So I'm going to scroll back up to our hook menu, and here we are, input menu. And at the very bottom, we've added a new item, and the key is input/search history delete. And then we've assigned a page callback to this path of input search history delete page. And we don't have that function yet. So we need to create that and make sure it wraps around our confirmation form. So let's scroll down to the bottom. And here we have right above our confirmation form, we have a function, input search history delete page. And this is the function that we associated with the path in hook menu. And we're going to return Drupal get form, and then we're going to pass it the name of the function that supplies the render array. So that's this function right here. And so through this, we'll return that build array through this page. The final step is to do something when the form is submitted. So we can do that by registering a submit function, which we talked about in previous examples. And the way to do that is to take the name of the function that returns the build array for the form and add an underscore submit to it. So that's going to be input search history, delete, confirm, submit. And then again, we're passing it the form and form state parameters. In here, we're going to do something really simple. We're going to take the variable that we defined in our previous examples where we were saving search history, and we're just going to delete it with variable del, that function. And then finally, we're going to display a message that says the search history has been cleared. So at this point, we have a page with the confirmation form, and it processes by deleting that variable. The only thing we have left to do is to make this confirmation form visible somehow. We need a way for the user to get to it. So something that might make sense is to add a clear history link underneath the search input. And the way we can do that is by adding a new input, a markup input, via hook form alter to the search form. So if we scroll up to our hook form alter, that's right here, our implementation of hook form alter, input form alter. We have our code from our previous examples, but then in this case for search block form, which is the name of the search form, we're adding this last item here for clear. This element is a markup type, which means that it's going to expect some HTML. The markup is a div, and inside of that div is just a link, and that link includes the text clear history, and the path that it uses is input/search history delete. So this is the path that we registered for our confirmation form page. And then we're extending this link a little bit by adding a query parameter to it, which will add the key destination with the value input examples. And the reason we're adding this destination to the end is that we want the form to redirect to a particular spot, and we want that spot to be the parent page to the page that we're currently on. So input/examples is going to be that. And then we're wrapping this link in a div, and we're adding a little bit of style to it because of the styling of the search input. If we float it left, then it will appear underneath the input. So let's go ahead and save this, and then we're going to need to clear our caches because we're registering a new menu item. So we need to rebuild the menu registry. And so just to verify, if we type in something inside of our search, we get a drop-down of autocomplete examples that have been saved in our search history. So let's go ahead and clear this search history link, which is what we added through hook form. And now we get our confirmation form. This is what it looks like. We have our question, which is our header. We have a description, which is this action cannot be undone. And we've set delete history for the confirmation button and a cancel button. Let's go ahead and delete the history. Okay, it redirected to that parent page that we wanted it to redirect to, input/examples. And now if we start typing in something here, we'll see that there aren't any matches. So we've deleted that variable.